Daith da, Eubinakan. Welcome to podcast number 110. I had a busy weekend last weekend. We are short-staffed at work at the minute, so I've spent most of the weekend in the office. I did do a little recce. We got a service next week at a village hall, which we've never had before, and I went to the hall years ago. So I did a little recce there, but say, office work most of the time. And that's been the story of my life this week. I think it's like I used to do. Finish work. Now I whip up, see mother, get home for tea, back to work, say from about 6:30 till 10 and get home. So that's my life at the minute. But I am grabbing a half hour now just to do this little bit for this week's podcast. Monday, we was up Warleggan. You may well have seen the photos on our RJ Bray Facebook page. For dear Joni, she was 104. What a fantastic age. And the reason I put the photos on there was instead of coffin stools to place the coffin on, we had bales of straw and it looked proper. Now, Tim, the first time we've done that in Warleggan Church. And we've done it before, definitely, I think, for Torqueast. Maybe for Cyril, I can't remember. I'll have to check back. But I know for the Keast family, we've done that before at the bales of straw. But yeah, it looked brilliant. Absolutely looked brilliant. Now, some of you who don't live in Cornwall might think, hang on a minute, I recognise that name Warleggan. Now, Warleggan is a tiny little hamlet. 'Tis on the edge of Bodmin Moor, really. But where a lot of people would recognise it from is like the novels, which then turned into the TV series Poldark. And of course, George Warleggan was the arch enemy of Ross Poldark. So that's most probably where you would recognise the name. I don't think it is a proper surname here in Cornwall. I think that Winston Graham just chose that name as the surname. 'Tis like Ross Poldark's wife's Christian name, Demelza. What a fantastic name. But Demelza is after a little hamlet near St Wen. I think I've mentioned Demelza before. So he would pinch these kind of place names, but make names out of them. But if any of you seen Poldark before, you ought to try and watch it if you can. The original series was in the 1970s. And I remember then, I would say pretty much all of Cornwall would be sat round their telly watching it on a Sunday evening. Because back then, you didn't have video recorders. So you had to watch it live. And it was a fantastic series. Everybody watched it. And then again, a few years ago now, not too long ago, they did a more modern adaptation of the novel. So again, they rerun it, but new obviously actors and everything. I got a mate called Spot. Now, Spot, he's the lead singer of the local group here, Tank Slapper. But he's a fantastic photographer. And he does take photos for like magazines and things like that. And he was on the set for the last kind of episodes, the last series or two of Poldark. And one of my favourite photos ever that he took was when they having a coffee break between scenes. So you got 4 or 5 of the cast there. I'd say they look like extras. Then they're in all their old Cornish gear. And then you got Poldark himself sat there as well. I think they got plastic cups of coffee in their hands. I think at least one of them smoking a rollie. But it's a fantastic photo because you've got them all there in their period costume with all these modern things like plastic coffee cups or whatever. Brilliant photo. Anyway, that's beside the point. But as I say, if you can track down either the original series or the one that's been on a few years ago, 'tis well worth watching. And I must admit, I did watch this recent one and they got the accents pretty good. Pretty good. I watched the first episode of Doc Martin when it came out, which was a spin-off of Saving Grace, the film that we was in. And I couldn't bear to watch it anymore because it's like set mainly in Port Isaac and the accents, you think those up in Bristol. well, I say terrible, but I didn't like it. It wasn't a Cornish accent. But with this Poldark one, they got it pretty much spot on. They really have. But it's well worth watching. As far as vicars go with Warleggan, 'tis quite interesting. I think back in 1774, there was the curate there, Francis Cole. Well, they reckon that he still haunts the area these days, and that if you can hear, sometimes you can hear the wheels of his carriage actually in the night. And then, of course, the last vicar to live there was Reverend Frederick Densham. And he was a bit of an eccentric, he was, and it led to a boycott. And in the end, he preached to an empty church, which I think he did for over 20 years. And they did say that sometimes he actually preached to cardboard cutouts of parishioners and that in his church. Well, in the end, he ended up living as a hermit until I think he died, I had a look, 1953. And he was found dead in his barricaded rectory. So there we are. But they do reckon even today that the rectory, which I think is now flats, is haunted. So I'll have to look into that a bit further in the future. But that's Warleggan for you. And I say, that's where we was on Monday. But 'tis a place, 'tis in the middle of nowhere. And 'tis a place you wouldn't really go to unless you wanted to go there, like, because you wouldn't really be cutting through anywhere to get there. I'm not too sure. But because of that, 'tis so peaceful. I mean, I was walking up in front of the hearse and all you could hear was birds singing. Fantastic. Silence with just birds singing. Talking of birds, I did put another photo on our Facebook page on Tuesday, and dear John had passed away, somebody I'd known for a long time, and he wasn't much older than me, really. And we had his memorial service there at St. Mimber Church. And while the whole service was on a headstone just outside of the church door, there was a pigeon there, sat on the headstone. And I went up, I got quite close, took a photo. He didn't move. But that was a lovely sight to see, really, quite touching. And then talking about birds and wildlife, on Wednesday we had Dawn's funeral at Glyn Valley, and I've known Dawn for a long time again. Her husband Derek, he was the undertaker at Tintagel, and they was a lovely couple. And Derek, he was very good to us when he was living years ago, very good to us, and we thought a lot of Derek. And 'twas lovely because Dawn, her life really, apart from her family, was horses. So as we come into Glyn Valley, leading the way in front of the hearse was a young maid with a black horse. And it gave you goose pimples on the back of your neck. And I was talking to Amanda afterwards, and I missed it because I was, picking everything up in the chapel. But I think there's 5 great-grandchildren, I think, of Dawn. And they ain't very big, little, tackers, really. And they all together got on the back of this big horse, and somebody took a photo. And cool, I bet Dawn would have loved that. And then we was in Glyn Valley again today a few times, and the last service we had there today was for dear Rose. She was 97, and I reckon there must have been 97 people there. It was fantastic. Such a crowd for a lady that age, and it was a lovely service. And I'm open. Last week we was going to try and gear it up, but he was took poorly, that I'm going to do an interview with Rose's brother. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed, because it'd be lovely to talk to him, because he now is 102. So we're open, all things being well, in the next few weeks I might do an interview. So there we go. Well, this is Thursday night. I'll finish there now, because I want to get back over work. So I'll now hand over to Chris for the second part of his interview, and then I'll do my bit at the end. Next week, I'm hoping I'll have time to interview somebody. If not, I don't quite know what I'm going to do. I know that Phil works for me, and he did suggest that for one episode I did like a question and answer thing. So if anybody got any questions, perhaps, related to funerals or anything like that, just send me a message or an email, and then perhaps I can answer some of the questions. So that might be an idea for next week, because I can see at the moment I've got a very busy week next week, and I think I will be working evenings again. So that might be an idea, because I can do a hang of a lot quicker than actually recording and then editing, doing interviews. Right, well, 'tis over to Chris now for part 2 of his interview, and then I'll round everything off directly. So here it is.
Yeah, and then just out of the blue, we was, well, as a family, you know, we took come home and talk and whatnot, and my aunties and uncles said, pity you couldn't have a apprenticeship. You know, if you could get yourself an apprenticeship somewhere, that would be ideal. I know you love what you're doing, and they've been good to you and all that, you know, giving you a job and whatnot, but to be ideal if you could get yourself an apprenticeship. So out of the blue one day, I got approached by one of the boys that worked down Orkies and said they're looking to take on an apprentice in the paint and body shop. Would he be interested? So I said, well, there's nothing better than going down and having a word with somebody and seeing what's what. So I said, yeah, put my name down. I'll give it a shot. So anyway, went down and seen Sid Rosevear then. And poor old Sid. Sid was a perfect gentleman.
Yeah.
Sid lived along Eglisell Road.
Yeah.
He was a king gardener. Never a weed in his garden nowhere, you know. Dear old fella. Always wore his cap.
Yeah.
There was Sid, and there was John Dyke.
Yeah.
Which John become my foreman, my boss, and basically down there, you know.
Yeah.
In later years. And Colin Oak worked there.
Oh, did he?
Colin went on to doing the funeral side of things for a little while before, I think, before Dad took it on to it. That was down Bradford's Quay. That's where Colin used to operate out of. Yeah. So that was that. So so I had the chance to go for it. So they said, well, you better come down and see what's what. So I got interviewed. Mrs. Orkey, Mrs. Dorothy Orkey, and the manager then was Walter Bailey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they said, yeah, well, you better, you know, sign yourself up and come on as an apprentice. So I come on as an apprentice then. So that meant then I had to go college then for 5 years. So I did the first 12 months at St Austell, then I did 2 years at Plymouth, and I did 2 years at Camborne.
Right.
So that was me 5 years then.
Yeah.
But I have wonderful years of work, you know, and experience was brilliant there, you know.
It was a big garage, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we had twouldn't just along Eglisell Road, Dave. You know, it was they had Bridge End garage, and then they had the 2 units down the slope then basically, or the 2 garages down the slope and the stores. Yeah. Plus they had Moser Street.
Yes,
which is now the hospice shop.
That's right. Yeah.
And we had St Mirren. See, we had a garage at top of Town Turn up St Mirren back then. You know, so that was all running. You know, so good old area. See to cover. Yeah, exactly. We was picking up work from everywhere. See. Yeah. Austin Morris, British Leyland agents. You know. So we had. Yeah.
So Dick Strout there?
Dick Strout was there, he was head of the mechanical department.
Mechanical side, I was trying to think who else.
Fred Warren.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Godfrey Worden.
Yeah.
Kenny Lane.
Oh, yeah.
John Carrart. And then there was another boy, he come on as an apprentice, Nigel Ayrn.
Right.
He was a boy from Bodmin. He was the last of the mechanical apprentices.
Right.
And I was the last of the body shop apprentices, or body and paint shop apprentices, you know. So, we used to do lots of lot of work really for different ones. We used to do back then Langs.
Yeah.
They had all their lorries, they used to maintain all their lorry fleet because obviously they used to do daily trips from Weybridge to London and back, with fruit and veg, and stuff like that. And we did the Barnicott fleet, Keith Barnicott.
Yeah.
Because of course it wouldn't Malcolm then.
No,
Father was in charge, see?
Yeah.
So Keith Barnicott, and the bakery then was over Paulmorley Road.
Yeah.
So we did their vans. They had a fleet of Leyland EA vans. That they had to have. They wanted them put in a specific livery, and we had these vans, and there was 3 colours to them. It was a chocolate brown,
right,
a cream, and an orange.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and Adrian Dongray, the sign writer, he used to sign write them for us.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, they was good old years, and really, really good, yeah.
And then my father worked there as well for a while,
Yeah,
didn't
father was there for a little while, yeah.
I remember his office was a little, like a porta cabin thing down in the yard.
That's
right.
What
I remember.
Yeah.
And so the stores was like Harold and Peter
Peterborough, yeah.
They was there then as well.
Yeah, they was there then, yeah.
So then in Bridgend Garage, just a bit further down, did they used to keep theirs there? Did they or no?
No, I don't know where that. No, I can't remember where the hearse was. We used to have a petrol breakdown truck there.
Right.
It was, oh my God, when that one used to fire up, you used to pop and bang, they used to start that one up. He was a petrol one, but God, did he rattle and bang when they started that one up? Yeah, it was like firework night in there,
So what did they use that garage for?
Well, that was more or less like what they used to call like the lubrication bay. That used to be like greasing and servicing and bits and pieces down there for a bit of an overspilling, basically. So if we had someone like the big lorries in of Langs to do work on, they used to come down the slope and in the big garage down the bottom, and used to use that as basically a greasing bay down at Bridgend,
I see. Yeah. And did they have our old building then, or no? Because there used to be petrol pumps there a long time ago, but did Ronnie Williams have that?
No, I think Ronnie Williams had that. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then up opposite the police station, that was mainly car sales.
That was car sales there then. Yeah. John Featherstone used to work in there then.
Oh,
yeah. He was a salesman. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was no road behind. It was a massive car park.
That's it. Yeah, big car park in behind. Yeah.
And then later on, there was petrol pumps in there, wasn't there? Where John's Fish and Chip Shop is now.
That's right. It was a forecourt there. Yeah.
Later on.
Yeah.
God, it all changed now.
Yeah, everything's changing now. Yeah.
So your job mainly was all the spraying.
Body repairs and spraying. Yeah, getting things ready, and bit of used to do a bit of welding and whatnot as well. And things. Yeah, whatever needed doing. That was it. Yeah, but old John and Sid sticklers. Yeah, good quality work. See, well, back in the days, Dave, there was like 3 repairers around then for sort of body work. There was ourselves,
right?
Paul Miller's in Bodmin,
all right, yeah,
and Mooton's up Pendoggett.
Yeah, oh, they did.
Yeah, John Mooton up Pendoggett. Right, see, and we was all fighting for our work, So but everybody got their fair share, That was it. It was all it was made round to go round them, basically. So everybody had their, we knew, and we was all sort of up to the same game, and really, it was all up same spec, everybody was working to the same standards and everything,
Yeah, but a lot different to today.
Yeah. Good old team, really.
So how long did you stay there for then?
Well, I was there from time I left school till I think it was 1982.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously back in their day, see, I was an apprentice. Well, they didn't, after your apprenticeship, it wasn't an option for them to keep you. Then they had a choice. They could let you go, or they could keep you. Well, obviously by that time, I don't know, Mr. and Mrs. Oakey, and they were getting older and whatnot, and they wanted to sort of wind it down a bit. So, unfortunately, I had to leave. You know, so but by that time, poor old Sid had retired and whatnot, so I had to go. So
it can't have been much later. I thought they actually closed.
Yeah, couldn't that long.
No.
So I went in the building trade. I tried to get a job in the motor trade, but couldn't find nothing. So I went into the building trade then.
Right.
For a few years, and I quite enjoyed that. Coming out of it, and I always had it in the back of my mind one day I'd get back into it. So I come out of it, and stuck with it and did a bit of builder's labouring for a few years and whatnot, and that was ideal. And then, eventually I had the opportunity, while I was doing a bit of builder's labouring, I got offered a job then with Sandries at Rumford.
Right.
They was looking for a yardman, person to make concrete blocks and whatnot as well. Yeah. So I did that for a couple of years,
So you were still living
Still live in Rumford, yeah.
Well, that was handy.
On my motherland, yeah. And just down the road that was. So I did that for a couple of years, and and then I left and the building business. I had a chance to go back with the same company under a different chap who bought it. Yeah. So I went. I thought, wow, in for a penny, in for a pound. I enjoyed it once. Shall I try it again? So he insisted, and he offered me decent money. So I said, well, yeah, go on, and I'll go. Yeah. So I tried it for a year, and that was it. And then at that particular time, I think it was about 1989, Tregonans of Padstow were advertising for a body technician then, or somebody to work in their body shop. So I applied and had an interview with Mike. Yeah. And Mike took me on. Right. So so I went to work for Mike, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Stayed there, within a couple of years or so, I was sort of like senior one of the workshop then, basically, doing my own thing and answering the mic then, basically, looking after customers and doing this and doing that, and that was ideal, and generally getting on with things, and doing estimates and paperwork and whatnot, and that was ideal,
So did they just have the garage at Padstow then, or Wadebridge as well?
Well, they took on the garage top of Moser Street then, which was Oakey's. Yes. Yeah. They had that as a showroom. Yeah. So they were selling cars there then. So I stayed there. I think it was about 13 years I was there then. Yeah. That was 1989 to about 13 years. So I must have been, what was that, 2002, something like that. I think I left there.
Yeah. So all the spraying was done down at Padstow?
Down at Padstow, yeah. It was just a shame that come end up, we, obviously things had moved to Wadebridge, and it wouldn't, it really wasn't profitable to keep it going there, as such, because the flow of work, obviously everything was coming into Wadebridge, and the bodywork side of things had dried up. So, it was a bit touch and go, what was going to happen. So I thought, well, I don't know, I got a few more years left in me yet. I'm going to see where I can, if there's someone else out there. Yeah. So I then had an opportunity to go with another firm out at Nampian. So I got offered a job at KJ Rule and Sons out at Nampian, and I worked there then till 2013. Yeah. So that was.
They were busy gang.
That was busy. Yeah, that was a brand new workshop, but that was a total different ball game. Yeah. Out there, because the flow of work was coming through the door. That was really switched on. Yeah. That's modern day stuff. Yeah.
So Tregonans shut their Padstow.
Yeah, they shut the Padstow down then. Yeah.
Yeah. So did they carry on spraying in Weybridge?
No, that was the finisher, so far as I know.
Yeah.
I think everything then got shipped out, and obviously then Moser Street moved up to Tollgate, and then everything was operational from Tollgate then, as it is today now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then after Rules?
Yeah, well, then I sort of 2013, I decided, I'd had enough because it was a bit of a rat race. I thought, I ain't getting any younger now, and I developed bad knees and whatnot throughout the years of obviously being on my knees and things.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'm going to take life a bit easier. I'm going to go self-employed and do a bit myself and see how we get on. So I handed me notice in, which they was a bit disappointed about, and I worked then right up till COVID.
Yeah.
But obviously I was seeing doctors and stuff like that, and consultants and whatnot about my knees and that, and then obviously just as COVID kicked in, I was advised then to, jack in the motor trade completely and not to do any more. So since then I've been pretty much a man of leisure and semi-retired,
Oh, that's not bad, is it?
No, it is all right, really.
Yeah. So when do you meet Jackie then?
Well, I met her 1977. She worked at Cowden's Garden Centre then down at Little Pedrack. She had a moped. She had a Putsch Maxi moped, one of these little old, what I'd call a chicken chaser. And I had my first motorbike then, or my first, fizzy. Back then, FS1E, little Yamaha FS1E fizzy, well, that was all right. But my fizzy was faster than her Putsch. So, anyway, used to pass her on the road. So, I knew she worked with a lady called Beth Gerard.
Yeah.
So I asked Beth, I said, "Here, Beth, who's that boy I pass in the morning?" I said, that got this Putsch Maxi, I said, that works over Cowden's with you. She said, "Don't let her hear you call her a boy." She said, "She'll knock you off that bike." So anyway, I plucked up courage one day and I thought, I must go down round St Morgan. I know where she lives. I'll go down round that way and see who she is. So and met up with her and that's it. Basically that was it. So we had a 12-year courtship.
Did she live here then?
She lived next door.
Yeah.
She lived in year twos. And so
12 years.
Yeah, 12 years. And then I said to her about getting married. She said, "Well, yeah, better way." So because I beat my uncle's record then, because he'd court a girl for 11 years. So I said, "Well, if I can do it for 12 years, I'll be all right." So I was courting for 12 years. So we got married in 1989. So that was all right. Yeah. So
was that St Morgan Church or no?
No, Bodmin Registry Office.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had to go Bodmin Registry Office because Mum was poorly. Mum had pancreatic cancer, so she was in and out of hospice. But the hospice people was really, really good. They took her to the wedding and all, and took her, took a nurse with her to look after her and everything like that. So Mum was able-bodied to go to the wedding and looked after her, and so we had a reception then at Farmer's Arms over St Mirren.
Yeah,
and that was that. So and then little Kirsty come along and so that was it. So
and now the next generation.
Now we've got the next generation in Jack now. Yeah. So he's growing like a weed. Yeah. So there we go. But
yeah. How the years go by.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But
one thing I was going to say, going back to Sandries, was they was a fairly big firm, wasn't it, with the lorries?
They were. Yeah. Lot of skip lorries, and I think it was 3 or 4 skip lorries.
Yeah.
They were flat out all the time back in their days. And then, of course, it was Richard with his block lorry, because Richard used to be the yardman. He used to make all the blocks and whatnot. But he had, this IAB lorry, so where he could pick them up with a grab and drop them off and whatnot, And then there was obviously tipper lorries as well,
Yeah.
So, there was like the the Brewer brothers, Dennis and Clifford Brewer.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
And Michael Grubb down in Snizzy.
Yes.
And these boys used to drive the skip lorries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 'twas Peter Sandry, but wasn't it the company TH Sandry?
TH, yeah, that was Granford. That was Granford Sandry, yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas Hawken, that was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a wonderful orchard, he did in Rumford. When I was a boy, he used to say, "Sonny, can you come and rake up the grass for me in the orchard?" And I used to say, "Yes, all right, Mr. Sandry, I'll come and do that for you." And now he caught me one day, there was a couple of my mates with me. He said, "Sonny," he said, "one boy, good boy, two boy, half boy." He said, "Three boy, no boy at all."
Right.
That's what he used to tell me, yeah. And I always remember that. You know how things stick in the back of your mind, Dave?
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. But wonderful old years, yeah.
And what was Penrose like then? Was that the small little village?
That was a small little village,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that had a chapel there, didn't it, as well?
Yeah. I think the main one who sort of looked after the chapel was a lady called Winnie Lobb.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was Clifford Stromman as well.
I was going to say Clifford.
Yeah, Clifford.
Yeah.
Clifford, he was well into the chapel. And then I think a bit later on, it was Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
So, it's all been, kept around that sort of area, which is a good thing, because it just keeps it within, doesn't it,
Totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Did he have any hobbies or nothing or anything at all?
He used to do a bit of rough shooting with father-in-law down the bottoms here and that,
Yeah. And anything car-wise at all then? No?
Got involved with Westworld Raceway up at Winner's Perch here, yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, did a bit of that. Yeah, that was that was a bit of Sunday time, that was, I built a couple of cars to race, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, I tried it once, and it was all right, but it wasn't the same as I enjoyed sort of helping out and doing bits and pieces alongside people on the racetrack, as opposed to sort of racing,
Yeah,
it was pretty rough racing, but it was all right,
Yeah. So was that kind of banger racing or more or not?
Well, there was bangers,
right?
And there was what they called non-contact, where you had strip a car out, all the interior and that inside, and put a roll cage in and such like, and then you could soup the engine up and do what you wanted, basically, you give it all you could on a Sunday afternoon and give vent to your feelings, like, Yeah. So, it was all right,
And that was were Metallic.
You used
Baisleys and all.
Yeah, you used to drive down the lane to where Frontier City.
Yes, yeah.
The old cowboy town, and drive through the cowboy town, and then down where there's a new plot of little chalets and that down there. That's you can see them from the main road, I think, if you look down there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, beauty.
Yeah.
Right on, mate. Well, I think we'll stop it for now.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we'll come back again later. I might even get your beloved on here one day.
That's what you ought to do, yeah.
So, if you'd like to say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah. Goodbye to everybody. And I hope I've covered everybody in as much depth as I can. And
that was good.
Yeah, hopefully we'll speak to somebody a bit later today.
Proper job. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, Dave.
Right on. Thank you, Chris. Proper job. And I know we'll be speaking to Chris again in the future, because I saw his Mrs. Jackie since, and she said, he thought about a lot of other things to say. So we'll be doing more with Chris later on. And he's still a youngster, still only in his 60s. So there we go. I thought for me Cornish word of the week, I'd actually do a couple of phrases this week. So we've actually, because quite often people see me out and they'll say, "Ewi nachan," or something like that. Well, we'll go a bit stage further and we'll do it in Cornish. So what I'll do tonight, this can be the Cornish for "Ewi nachan," or "How are you?" So if you saw somebody and you were to ask them, "How are you?" you'd say, "Fatla Guinness," "Fatla Guinness," or "How's it going with you?" "How's it going with you?" "Fatla Guinness." And then the other person would answer Impundamaraz, which is very well, thank you, because Maraz is thank you. So, like, if you're saying, how's it going with you? Fatlagenas. And you'd answer Impundamaraz. So there we are. And for my Cornish dialect of the week, I did mention earlier when Dawn's great-grandchildren were on the horse, and I said they were little tackers. And I think that'll be my dialect for this week. I don't know if it's just down here in Cornwall, but tackers. That's like for small children, toddlers, that sort of thing. Right, well, there we go. That's it for this week. I'm glad I got one in. We'll try again next week. Say it might be question and answer if I don't get round to doing an interview. We'll see how we go. But speak to you next week anyway. Wish you well. Do Guinness. Carnovis Vican.